The night was as dark as the secrets it held, the air filled with an eerie silence that would soon be shattered by a horrifying discovery. Imagine, if you will, an evening steeped in the shadows of the late 19th century. The moon barely peeking through the dense veil of clouds, offering scant light to the cobblestone streets below. This is not a night of revelry or joy, but one that will forever be etched in the annals of true crime. In the heart of this chilling night was a young woman named Matilda, known to her friends as Tillie Smith. A kitchen maid by trade, Tillie was employed at the prestigious Centenary Collegiate Institute in New Jersey. As the sun set, she was preparing to step out into the night for an evening with friends. Little did she know, this would be her last night of freedom, her last night of innocence. Tillie, with her youthful spirit and vibrant energy, was a stark contrast to the somber, foreboding night that surrounded her. Yet beneath the surface of this seemingly ordinary evening, the threads of a sinister plot were being woven, a plot that would soon engulf Tillie's life, and indeed, her very existence. As the clock ticked onwards, the night seemed to deepen, its inky blackness swallowing up the dwindling light. The laughter and camaraderie of Tillie's night out was a distant echo in the cold wind, a fleeting glimmer of life amidst the impending doom. But, as Tillie and her friends lost themselves in the joy of the moment, the night had other, darker plans. Unbeknownst to them, a shadow was looming, a sinister presence that would soon shatter their world, and leave a chilling mystery in its wake. As the night deepened, so did the mystery that would unfold, leaving a haunting echo in the annals of true crime. As Tillie and her friends parted ways, none could predict the sinister fate that awaited her. The evening had started out like any other for Matilda Tillie Smith, a kitchen maid at the Centenary Collegiate Institute in New Jersey. It was the late 19th century, a time of gaslights and horse-drawn carriages, when nights out with friends were simple affairs, filled with laughter and camaraderie. On this particular night, Tillie and her friends had enjoyed a lively evening in town. They had strolled through the bustling streets, their laughter echoing off the cobblestones. They had shared stories, dreams, and laughter, their spirits high. Throughout the evening, Tillie was her usual self, cheerful and full of life, her eyes sparkling with youthful innocence. As the night wore on, the friends decided to part ways. They bid each other goodnight, their voices carrying through the crisp night air. Tillie, still aglow from the evening's merriment, began her journey back to the Collegiate Institute. As she walked, she would have passed familiar landmarks, the comforting sights of her everyday life. The flickering gaslights casting long shadows, the silhouette of the Collegiate Institute in the distance, the occasional passerby greeting her with a friendly nod. These were the last moments seen of her alive, the last remnants of her normal life. But as she ventured further, the familiar sights gave way to dimly lit alleys and silent streets. The bustling town had retreated, leaving Tillie alone in the quiet dark night. Perhaps she felt a sense of unease creeping in, the darkness pressing in around her, the silence too profound. Or maybe she remained oblivious, her mind still filled with the echoes of the night's laughter and camaraderie. In the shadowy alleys, Tillie Smith vanished into the night, unknowingly stepping into the jaws of a grim destiny. As dawn broke, it shed light not just on a new day, but also a gruesome discovery that would send shockwaves through the community. The hushed whispers of the early morning were suddenly shattered, replaced by a deafening silence that fell over the Centenary Collegiate Institute. The institute, once a beacon of learning and growth, was now the backdrop of a chilling scene. In the quiet, pristine grounds, the lifeless body of Matilda Tillie Smith, a humble kitchen maid, was discovered. The horror that lay before the eyes of the discoverer was a sight that would haunt the town for generations to come. Tillie was found in a state that bore the harrowing marks of an unthinkable crime. Her body bore the brutal signs of a struggle, indicating that her last moments were filled with fear and pain. She had been strangled, assaulted, her spirit extinguished by the hands of an unknown assailant or assailants. This horrifying revelation sent a ripple of terror through the community. The people of this small town, once known for its tranquility and camaraderie, were now gripped with fear and shock. The very thought that one of their own could commit such a heinous act was unthinkable. The local newspapers were ablaze with headlines screaming of the horrific incident. The townsfolk, once engrossed in their own lives, were now united by a shared sense of dread and mourning. Tillie, who was once a face amongst many, was now the face of a tragedy that had shaken the town to its core. The unimaginable had happened. In the heart of the community, a sinister crime had been committed, leaving a chilling question. Who killed Tillie Smith? With a murder most foul, the hunt was on for the faceless monster who had taken Tillie's life. The specter of her untimely demise hung heavy on the heart of the community, necessitating a swift and thorough investigation. In the immediate aftermath, two men found themselves under the microscope of suspicion. Harry Herring and Charles Munich, known acquaintances of Tillie, were the initial suspects. Herring, a local tradesman, and Munich, a fellow servant at the Collegiate Institute, had spent time with Tillie on the night of the murder. But the weight of accusation lifted as both men were able to provide solid alibis, placing them away from the scene when the heinous act occurred. With Herring and Munich cleared, a new suspect emerged from the shadows. James Titus, the janitor of the Collegiate Institute, became the focal point of the investigation. Detective Bob Haggerty, the lead investigator, theorized that Titus had made unwanted advances towards Tillie, which could have led to the tragic incident. But the case was far from cut and dry. Despite the public's growing conviction of Titus's guilt, there was a glaring lack of concrete evidence to tie him to the crime. No fingerprints, no weapon, and no eyewitnesses. The case against Titus was largely built on circumstantial evidence and speculation, fueled by sensationalized media reports. One particularly damning account came from a witness who claimed to have heard Titus speaking disrespectfully about Tillie on the night of her murder. But was this enough to convict a man of such a gruesome crime? With no solid evidence and only suspicion to guide them, the mystery of Tillie's murder deepened, casting a long, dark shadow over the community. In the end, the curtains closed on a mystery that remained unsolved, leaving a chilling echo in the hearts of those who remembered Tillie Smith. The late 19th century bore witness to a horrifying crime, one that still haunts the annals of Centenary Collegiate Institute in New Jersey. Matilda Tillie Smith, a kitchen maid, was taken from this world in a brutal act of violence, her life cut short on a night that was meant to be filled with camaraderie and laughter. Despite the tireless efforts of Detective Bob Haggerty and the local law enforcement, the case remains a mystery. Initial suspects were cleared, their alibis standing firm, leaving the spotlight to fall on James Titus, the janitor of the institute. Titus, however, was not convicted due to a lack of concrete evidence. Yet public pressure and a media frenzy painted him as the perpetrator. This was a time when sensationalism could sway the course of justice, and it seemed that Titus fell victim to this. Titus was remembered by some as a man who spoke ill of Tillie, particularly on the night of her murder. Yet, without evidence, these testimonies served only to fuel speculation and rumors. The truth of what transpired that night remained as elusive as a shadow in the dark. In the aftermath, Tillie was buried in a pauper's grave, her life stripped of the dignity it deserved. This sparked a campaign for a memorial in her honor, a testament to her life and the mystery that shrouded her death. The case of Tillie Smith is a chilling reminder of a time when justice could be swayed by public opinion and media influence, a time when an innocent night out could turn into a nefarious tale of mystery and horror. To this day, the horrifying and mysterious case of Tillie Smith remains an unsolved puzzle, a chilling reminder of a night that held more secrets than it revealed.